Hi everyone, welcome back to Bots to Lights. Welcome to our Corsair leader playthrough. We've just entered the over target phase of the game. This is the phase where we're moving about and doing battle and hopefully taking out our target to complete our mission. So let's dive straight in with the first step. It's step 12 actually. Dive bombers, dive to low. We don't have any dive bombers. Actually, I keep saying for our secondary mission, I keep saying the Avengers are the dive bombers. They're not, they're torpedo bombers actually. So dive bombers would be like the Dauntless. There aren't any Dauntless in this mission, but here's an example of the Dauntless, and it has the dive keyword. See? If you see dive, it's a dive bomber. So we don't have any dive bombers, we're going to skip that section. But you remember when I placed my planes, I said they fix their altitude. With dive bombers, they can dive from high to low, drop their bombs. Alright, next then, fast pilots attack. We don't have any fast pilots. If you look, it's right here where it says speed, slow, 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 okay? So this is their stress level, 0 here, 1 here. Everyone's on the top row anyway, and everyone's okay. But they're all still slow. There are some examples. So if you want a fast pilot, here's Henry Achilles. He's fast when he's average. On newbie and green, he's slow, so you have to upgrade him to average and higher. Or Captain Floyd Salerno also has a fast speed when he's okay, and upgraded to average. Right, so there are some fast pilots, and fast kind of gives them a little bit of a jump on the enemy, and they can act first. Now there's one exception to this, and this is where I'm going to return to something that I've mentioned a few times but not explained. I've got one pilot here, if you look at their stats, who's got an SA, situational awareness, of non-zero, okay? And that's Leyland Top-Gilton. He's got an SA, a situational awareness of 1. And we gave him this SA token. A slow pilot can spend an SA token, a situational awareness counter, to perform an extra attack in the fast pilot attack phase, which is where we are right now. You can still attack, I say extra attack, so you can still attack as normal during the slow pilot's attack, but also during fast pilot's attack. And as it goes, we've got no one we can attack. Top's got napalm with a range of 0. It's got guns, right? So onboard guns. They can attack targets in the same area. Things like rockets can attack in the next area. So if Top had some rockets, he might be able to attack something over here in the south approach. But with range 0 on all his weapons, he's not doing anything. But maybe next time, maybe turn 2. So nothing in range, we're just going to push on through. Sights and bandits attack. So bandits can start dogfights with enemy aircraft in the same area, right? No one's in the same area right now. And if we look at our sights, these are all range 0 sights. Again, range 0 sights can only fire at enemy aircraft in the same area. Here's an example of, we were lucky this one didn't come up. This is a 75mm gun. It has, see the 1 in the black circle? It's the same as all of our weapons, right? Remember our rockets were range 1. Okay, this is a range 1 sight. So it could, if it was here, attack into an adjacent area. Okay, so still nothing happening. Next, slow pilots attack. We could fire some rockets now if we wanted to. So let's do that. Madman is a slow pilot, and he's got 2 sets of rockets. All these weapon tokens are air to ground. Okay, so Madman can attack at range 1, so we can attack in here, air to ground. So you can't attack enemy bandits, this is air to air, but we could attack this site. We're at low altitude. We can use this weapon at low altitude to hit a site. It's real simple. We just need to get a hit. 1 or more hits on a site, the site's destroyed, and we remove it from the tactical display. Okay? Now to get a hit on here, we need to roll a d10 and we need to roll a 7 or higher. The S in the yellow box means if we're doing a suppression attack, we get a +3 modifier. We're not doing a suppression attack. This is just a regular attack. I'll talk about suppression attacks a little bit later. So it's not easy. We don't have any modifiers except for those on our pilot card. So Madman has, he's okay, remember, has an air to air stat and an air to ground. Having 0 stress, he's still okay. Yeah. So he gets +1 on air to air, +0 on air to ground. So a 0 modifier. If he was shaken, if he had 5 to 7 stress, then you'd have -1 on air to air, -2 on air to ground. He does have 1 gung ho. We could expend it. If he was shaken, we could expend the gung ho to make him okay for the rest of this mission. All right, so we had picked up a load of stress. You can use your gung ho. We can also expend the gung ho to automatically roll a 10 on a 1d10 without rolling. You have to do this before you choose. All right, so you can't roll, oh, I got a 4. Right now, expend the gung ho. It has to be before. So this is instead of rolling, treat it as a 10. Gung ho is super that way. We can also use gung ho in defense. So if we're hit, we can treat that hit as a no effect. All right, we'll show you that if and when it happens. But keep that in mind. One more point here. Stress 5 to 7 is shaken. What if he's got 8 or more stress? Then the pilot's unfit. Unfit pilots can't fly. Okay, you can't assign them to a mission. It's early days, our stress levels are all kind of low, but we're going to be picking up 2 stress at the end of this mission. So, should we just roll the die? Let's roll the die. We're not going to expend our gung-ho, we're just going to take our chances. So it's 7 to 10, and we've hit this site. This is 10! Yes, that's what we want to see. So, rockets are expended, site is destroyed. Now the flight director says, now all other sites will attack with a -1 adjustment. Okay. I'm going to put this here to remind us this is what's happening. No more attacks to be done. We've got no more targets. Aircraft move is the next step. We can spread out, we can stay together, we can do whatever we want. Okay, we're moving to adjacent regions. We're moving in. Everyone's moving in to the south approach. You can stay where you want if you wanted to. But the other thing to note is when you're moving aircraft, you could remove aircraft. Okay, so they can flee the battlefield if you like. Let's just take a closer look at this bandits. Remember, bombers and escorts. Bombers and escorts. Okay. If you see these are the attack values at top left. If you see square brackets around these, they're bombers, otherwise they're escorts. This is the type of aircraft. It's Japanese, 0. This is this attack modifier. This is a +0 on attack air to air. This is the year, it's 45, and we're playing the Luzon 1945 mission, so all the 45 bandits come in. This G here means it's green, so this is a relatively inexperienced 0. And then this yellow banner, compare it, the sites don't have them, right? This is just a reminder this thing can only be attacked with guns, air-to-air guns. Now, anytime aircraft move, so when we move or bandits move, if there's aircraft and bandits in the same area, you have to follow the engagement rules. And do this in a specific order. So if you've got an unengaged escort, remember at the moment we've only got 1 escort, okay? Because of the weight, these are all considered bombers right now. Remember? So Sakamoto is an unengaged escort. We could engage this 0. Okay? This is optional. You can do this if you wish. Otherwise, we engage it with one of our unengaged bombers. If everything's already engaged, then we don't engage the bandit. Okay, because everything is 1-to-1. Right? All engagements are 1-to-1. Right? Pretty simple, huh? Okay, so let's have Sakamoto engage this 0. Note too that pilots will engage nose to nose when they meet for the first time. Okay, this is called a neutral engagement. Neither aircraft has superior air position just yet. Next stage, bandits move. Now, interestingly, and you'll see this, I mean, we've all moved into the same position, but you could, be a bit more tactical. Send your aircraft in different directions, try and outmaneuver your opponent. I'm taking the kind of the path of least resistance up through the middle here. But be clever about it, think about it, play how you want to play, right? This is where the fun is. Okay, bandits move. Bandits with no unengaged aircraft in the area will move, and they'll move one area towards the closest unengaged aircraft. This Nakajima Hayabusa or Peregrine Falcon is coming in. Its values not quite as good, but marginally the same as the Zero. He's going to come in. You'll notice that these guys, they don't have high or low, okay? So they can engage anyone at any altitude. So Foster's high, Figueroa's low. It could engage where you want. Let's have it engage, Madman. Incidentally, if you choose not to engage with one of your escorts and you have no bombers unengaged, then it would engage any other escorts. Okay, so you can't just leave it unengaged. We've got these two coming in. We've got another Peregrine. These two are newbies. Let's have this one go for the Figueroa. Yeah. And then we got the Nakajima Ki-84 Hayate. This guy was also known as the Frank. We'll call him the Frank by the US, I think. Where are we going to go? Top Gilton. I think so. This is the trouble when our escorts are all bombers. They're not how they need to be. So we'll see how this works out. And then we've got the kind of the ace of their squadron, which is this Zero up here, which is going to come one area closer. So that could be here, here, or here. And in these games, if there's one or more option of things, and do it randomly, just roll. Okay, so actually I'm just going to use a D6 for this. So one area closer is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, so it's moving down into the central area. That's it, we've completed Bandits Move. Now they're not going to attack until we get to Sights and Bandits Attack, but they are all now engaged. Let's advance the turn counter, and we move back to the top. Right, turn 2. We don't have dive bombers. Fast pilots attack. Remember, we don't have any fast pilots, but we do have Top Gilton with 1 situational awareness. We could use that. We could expend it. He's a bomber, so he can't initiate dogfighting. He doesn't have a ranged weapon, so he hasn't got anything to target anyway. But potentially, at any point on his turn, he could jettison his weapons. So he could jettison this, go back to being an escort, and then engage in a dogfight, and even do it now using his situational awareness as a fast attack. So there are options, and that might be a sensible thing to do. I mean, this might end up being a lesson in why you don't have bombers without escorts. But why don't we just take a few chances? Sights and Bandits Attack. We're going to get attacked now. Let's do these maneuvers first. So these bandits have got 3 attacks on these 3 bombers. When fighters attack, it's a 2-step thing. They maneuver and then they attack. Okay, maneuver, attack. They're trying to get an advantage on the bombers, on our fighters, and then attack. You're going to be using this hardboard dogfighting reference board, okay? So we roll a die. We'd add the attacker's air to air, which in this case is 0, plus 0. We're currently in a neutral position, well, the bandit's in a neutral position with us, so on a 4 or less, he'll try a tight turn, 5 to 7, a yo-yo, 8 half loop, in my sights on a 9, and 10 plus gives him out of the sun. Because we're a bomber, he's trying to get in beside us or up behind us. That's what he's trying to do with his manoeuvre. Alright, let's see what he does. So his air to air is +0. Roll the die. That's a 9. So he's going to try and in my sights. Okay. So now we roll again and we see if he's successful. Look at the chart to help you. So we've just done that. Enemy maneuver choice. Now it's enemy maneuver success. It's another D10 plus the enemy's air to air, which is 0, minus the friendly air to air. So Top's air to air is -1. So he's got a +1 on this die. It's a 6. So a 6 on in my sights is a +1 to his attack roll. So now we do the enemy attack resolution, which is a D10 plus the enemy air to air, which is a 0, minus the friendly air to air, which is a -1. That gives him a +1. With a +1, so that's +2. Finally, your attack roll is modified by your weight points. So Top's carrying 2 weight, so that's another +2 to his roll. That's +4 to his roll. And before we roll, we've got a couple more options. If we want to, we can take a stress, and instead of rolling 1d10 on their attack, they'll roll 2d10 and we'll take the lowest result. So I am tempted by that. This K4's got some great numbers on it. We do have a gung-ho as well. So a gung-ho can save us. So what do we do that? Let's take a stress and we'll do a little evasive turn. So they roll 2d10. Remember, it's got a +4 on it. Take the lowest. We've got a 2 and a 5. So that becomes a 6. And that would have been a 9. Look at the attack numbers here. They got 3, 6, and 7. On a 1 or a 2, it's a miss. On a 3, 4, or 5, so 3 or higher, we pick up an extra stress. Okay, so the first result is the stressed result. 6 or higher is damaged. We pick up some damage and 2 stress. If we're damaged, we take 2 stress. A second damage would destroy the aircraft. The third roll, 7 or higher, is destroyed. So we got a 6. We're going to take a damage. That's not great. That's not great. Now, the other option was, if we had an unengaged escort, we could have prevented this attack by having that unengaged escort do a suppression attack on this bandit. It's like a normal attack, but instead of doing damage, it just cancels. If the attack's successful, it just cancels their attack out. So that's much better. Unengaged escorts can really protect your bombers. But it's not quite over just yet. Alright, we could choose to take the damage. The other option is I use my gung-ho. If I use my gung-ho, I can cancel that out. I can effectively make out that attack did nothing. But this is a one-time use. So let's take the damage. Damage in Corsair Leader delivers 2 stress. Okay, so now we're at stress 3. That's all it does. Okay, if they pick up a second damage, they're destroyed. But for the moment, with 3 stress, they're still okay. They can still maneuver, they can still attack. Nothing else is happening. Okay. I should just add for Top, although the damage doesn't do anything for him right now, once he drops his weighted weapons and becomes an escort, when maneuvering, because he's damaged, he can only select the tight turn for the maneuver. Okay, you can't do any of these barrel rolls, scissors, yo-yo, or everything else. Okay, you can only do the simple tight turn. So that is a consequence of being damaged. We take a second damage, we're destroyed. That's what damaged does. Alright, so we've resolved this one. There's nothing going on here. We got 2 more attacks on 2 more bombers. So remember, it's a D10 to do the maneuvering choice with a modifier on their air to air. So a D10 with a -1 is a 3. That gives them a 2. So on a 2, they're doing a tight turn. Let's do the roll. So the enemy maneuver success, D10 plus enemy air to air minus friendly air to air. So it's a -1. Figueroa's got a -1 on air to air, so that brings it to 0. They've got a 7, so that takes them to +1 position. They're taking an advantaged position here, which gives them a +1 on their attack roll. We can try to evade. Let's do that. One more stress on Figueroa. We'll roll 2d10. Take the lowest roll. It's a 2. They've got a 2, -1, +1. We're carrying 1 weight point, that's another +1. So they're currently at +1. And then, because of their advantage position, that's another +1. Alright, so -1 for them. Figueroa, air to air is -1, so that's a +1 to them. I get another -1 because of my weight, that's a +1 to them. And then advantaged, +1, so that makes that a 4. Okay. Advantaged, +1. If they were tailing, that's a +3. Alright, so those are your positions. Okay, neutral, +1 position takes you to advantaged, +2 positions takes you to tailing. If you -1 position, back to advantaged, minus another back to neutral. Okay, if you minus another, then that makes me advantaged, minus another. Do you see? So that's the plus and minus position stuff. Okay, which is what you're going to see when you see these +1 positions or -1 positions, right? We're going to see this as the game plays on. All right, so he's got a 4. He needed to get at least a 6 to hit me. Let's do Madman top. There's a +0 on this. His figures are 6, 8, 9. So let's do his maneuvering roll. It's a 7 with a +0. Means he's going for the yo-yo. Madman's air to air is +1. So he's got a -1 on this. That's a 6 with a -1. Gives him a 5. That's -1 attack. He failed to improve his position. Again, we can try and evade. For 1 stress, roll 2 dice. The lowest is a 3. At a -1. Our friendly AA is a +1, so that's a -2. +1 with the weight is a -1. So that takes him to a 2. This attack has failed as well. So we're doing okay. Sakamoto now. So the 0's got a +0 attack modifier, but it only needs a 5 to stress. Sakamoto's air to air is +2. So enemy choice, maneuver choice is a D10 +0. It's a 1, so he's trying to do a tight turn, so nothing too ambitious. But it's got a D10 +0. My friendly air to air is +2, so there's a -2 on this roll. Is a 1, so no effect. The tight turn failed, but it was a simple maneuver, no effect. Attack resolution. So now where you've got an escort, he's not carrying any weight, so he's not taking a weight penalty for his air to air. So it's a D10 +0 -2, and he's looking for a 5 with a -2 on the roll. It's a 4. He didn't get it. Alright, that's all the bandit attacks done. And top's the one that really suffered here. He's got 3 stress. He's still okay, but he's damaged. There's one last step we need to do. When a bandit engages one of our bombers, completes its attack, it will immediately disengage. Okay? Disengage. Disengage. This is still a dogfight. This is fighter on fighter, escort on escort. These are now disengaged. One other point to note. These bombers if a bandit had engaged these, okay, they will disengage at the end. But if you remember, bombers like the B-25 have their air-to-air in square brackets. What that means is they can do a defensive roll. Okay, so if this bandit had tried to attack one of the B-25s, engaged it and attacked it, while engaged, before they do the attack roll, it doesn't matter if they maneuver neutral, advantaged, or tailing. So after they maneuver, before they do their attack roll, we can do a defensive gunner attack. Right? These bombers have gunners. They got rear gunners. They may have gunners that are sitting in a turret at the back here. These are a defensive roll. So you could take out the bandit, and they use their guns figures here. You could take out the bandit before they get to fire off and roll their attack. All right, so look out for that. For now though, bandits have done their attack. Sights and bandits have attacked. And there's little reminders here, remember, on the suppression, and pilots under attack may use evasion. But now we get to attack. Oh, one more point. If we did decide to suppress, suppression costs 1 stress, and because of this event, it's plus 1 stress, actually 2 stress would be the cost of making a suppression attack. Alright, slow pilots attack now. So that's all of us and Sakamoto, who's currently engaged in a dogfight with the Zero. Remember, we've got rockets at range 1, so we could be attacking the target with our air-to-ground. We've also got guns, okay, they've all got guns, which can also be used air-to-ground. If we were in the same area, or not back here, that we could attack the target with our guns. But we could be attacking these bandits with our guns as well. And you remember, bandits don't have an altitude, so it doesn't matter whether we're low or high. If we choose to attack a bandit, they're always deemed to be at the same height as us. Now, as it goes, I'm going to start with Figueroa. I'm going to start with Figueroa. And Figueroa has got 2 stress. He's still okay, but he's going to fire his rockets. And we're going to try and take out these riflemen. Rockets work at range 1, remember. Okay, so we're going to try and take out one of these. Figueroa's low, the riflemen are low, our rockets are used at low. Okay, so we're firing this rocket. We score a hit on a 7. We use the pilot's air-to-ground stat, which for Figueroa, he's got 2 stress, he's still okay. Air-to-ground is a -1. We got a 6. We've missed this rifleman. Let's have a closer look at it and we'll see what we're up against when it fights back. All sights have got an S in the top left corner. These are soft, so napalm can do some real damage against these. But riflemen are not very potent against aircraft. The 3 figures are stress, damage, destroyed. Okay, so a 6 or higher, he'll stress us, but he'll do no damage and no destroy. Okay, so the most a rifleman can do is stress us. We don't have to worry about them for now. We'll come back to them once we enter the central area. Figueroa's done. We're going to do the same with Madman. He's got an air-to-ground of +0. I'm going to try and fire this rocket, a 0 modifier. Now, Madman does have a gung-ho. We could say we're going to use that and make this a 10 without even rolling it. He's also got fighter pilot. Let's check what this does. Fighter pilot says +1 to gun attacks. Okay, well, he's not. He's using a rocket. Okay. But I don't want to take any chances. I'm going to spend his gung-ho. Even with a +0. Yeah, we can make this a 10. Okay. Job is done. We've taken out these riflemen. Top's napalm is range 0, so we can't use that just yet. But he can use his guns. He's not dogfighting, so he doesn't roll for manoeuvring. He just picks a target and rolls his attack. The Top has guns 8. Remember, our B-25 bombers, their air-to-air guns, they also have 8. They're in square brackets, so they only do their gunner attack when they're attacked by an engaged fighter, right? So they're not going to attack again, but they could use the air-to-ground guns. But these are 0 range, okay, R0. However, these bombers do have air-to-ground guns that hit range 1 as well. And you'll also notice that they could do up to 2 hits. So at range 0, 1 hit on a 4, 2 hits on a 7. At range 1, 1 hit on a 6, 2 hits on an 8. However, they do need to be at low altitude. Alright, so these bombers are not going to be using their guns, their air-to-ground guns. Top, though, can pick his target, which might be this one. But he's going to struggle to hit because his air-to-air is -1. He's carrying 2 weight, so he also gets a -2. If we look here, okay. Aircraft attack sequence. Select a target. Perform a guns attack. Roll 1 die. We're at neutral, so it's a +0. Even if we roll a 10, at -1 it's down to a 9. And then with our -2 weight, it's down to a 7. So even if we roll a 10, we can't get an 8. So we're not going to hit with our guns carrying this much weight. Alright, so be aware of it. These fighters that are operating like bombers are a real disadvantage. So what about Sakamoto? Sakamoto is engaged in this dogfight with the 0. He's also flight leader, and I've not mentioned what flight leader means yet. All it means is that if he has situational awareness, he can spend it on himself or another pilot. Okay, so he can kind of notify another pilot in his squadron and give them the jump, make them fast. Right? Sakamoto doesn't have any SA, so it's pretty pointless for him. But there you go. Such is. Right, step 1, maneuver. We can pick which maneuver we want. We're neutral, we're okay. I'm going to try out of the sun. So we do our maneuvering roll first. So it's D10 plus friendly air-to-air minus enemy air-to-air. I'm +2, he's +0, so we get a +2 on this roll. We're looking for a 6. We've got an 8, so we've got a 10. So 9 plus means I get +4 to my attack roll. I've not changed position, so I'm still neutral. Okay. So +4 attack roll. I've got +2. So I've got a +6 attack roll. My guns value is 8, so I need 8 with +6. That's a 9. We've destroyed the 0. That'll do it. Now when you get a kill, mark it off on your sheet. So Sakamoto gets a kill. Right, he gets 5. Then we're rewarded with an ace, and an ace will score us 1 victory point at the end of the campaign. Right, that's everyone acted. Aircraft can now move. Now, of course, I want to put my bombers over the target in the central area. Top also needs to go in here to have a crack at the target. I do want to bring Sakamoto in as well to engage with this 0 that's otherwise going to cause us trouble. Our escorts could stay here and engage with these 2, which means this Army 0 is going to come in, is going to move to where there's unengaged aircraft. If we were engaged and we wanted to move, then we break the engagement. If the bandit was tailing us or an advantage was us, they would follow us even if we moved. Okay, so look out for that. This Ki-43 needs to engage a bomber of our choice, so let's engage it with top. So we've done that, and then we advance to turn 3. Back to the beginning. Dive bombers, dive to low, fast pilots, attack. Now at this point, I might want to use Top's situational awareness. Might do, definitely will do. For a moment, he's still carrying weight, so things are going to change around a little bit. So although we're engaged, we can still fire against the target. There's nothing to stop us using our regular attack against target. And we're going to use napalm. We've got 3 stress, so we're still okay, but air to ground is -2. Okay. Now the napalm has a +2 against soft targets. Our target is soft, so that's brought things back to 0. Alright, soft target. And remember, this situational awareness makes this an extra attack. So this is just an extra thing. We can do it as a bonus. This dogfight's still going to happen during the slow attack. We're still going to be, unless we're destroyed already, we can still make it happen. Now we could decide to use our gung-ho here. We could use our gung-ho and make this attack a 10, but I might want to save that for a more defensive stance. So let's take our chances and roll the dice. So remember, our air to ground is -2, they're soft, so +2 takes it to a 0. There's 3 attack figures on this napalm. We need 3 or more for 1 hit, 7 or more for 2, 10 or more for 3 hits. So I could do a full 3 hits on these assault troops just by using my gung-ho. But I feel confident about my bombers, they've still got work to do. Right, let's do it. Remember, this is fast, these guys are slow, so I have to wait. I can't just, see how they perform and then decide. We're fast, it's now or nothing. Let's roll. Whoa! It's a 10. That's a beauty. 3 hits. Wow. I don't think we're going to need it because our bombers will do the job, but wow, that's a pretty decent insurance policy. Right, the napalm's spent. Sights and bandits attack. So sights, still nothing in range. We've made it through here. Bandits now attack, so let's have this one go. It's Sakamoto. He's going to do his maneuver roll. Remember, we've got all our modifiers here. So he's a +1 on his maneuver roll. It's a 10, so he's neutral. He's going for out of the sun. And in his success, we've got a +2. He's got a +1. That's a net of -1 on his out of the sun roll. He's rolled a 1. It's a 0. That's -2 position. That's really backfired. And that's great for us. This guy has suddenly come out of the sun and messed up. So what does that mean for his attack roll? He's facing the wrong way. He can't attack us. He has to be neutral, advantaged, or tailing. He's none of those things. He can't attack us. Let's do Top's bandit next. So they're neutral. He's going to do his roll. This one's -1. So he's getting a -1 on his air-to-air maneuver. That's a 6. So he's trying a yo-yo. He gets -1, Top's -1, so they actually net off to a 0. So it's just the die roll here to see whether the maneuver succeeds. It's a 1, he's failed as well. So 2 or less on a yo-yo is -1 position, so we've got to jump on him a bit as well. He can't attack us from that position. We're no longer a bomber, so he's not going to disengage us. Top has got the jump on this guy. Right, let's do this one next. So he's at a +0. Let's do his maneuver check. That's a 9, so he's going for 9 at a 0 mod. He's doing in my sights. Figueroa is stress 2, so he's still okay. Is a -1. So he gets a +1 on his maneuver success. In my sights, so +1. Oh, that's a 10. That gives him +2 attack. Interesting. +2 attack. Do I... No, let's let it go. Let's let it go. This could be dangerous. +2 attack. He's neutral, so it's 0 here. +2 on attack. He needs a 6 to stress. That's only a 4. A 4 to stress, a 6 to damage, a 7 to destroy me. I might try and evade. Let's do an evade. Okay, we're going to evade. Figueroa is now at 3 stress. Now that will make me shaken and put me at -3. No, let's just roll. Let's just roll. It's a 3. Or 3. +2 because of in my sights is a +5. And another +1. That's a 6. Oh, it didn't damage me. It's not enough, but it is enough to pick up another stress. So Figueroa is now shaken. Okay, last one, this bandit here on Madman. Let's see, he's got a +0. That's a 5. So he's going for the yo-yo. Madman has got... He's got 1 stress, so he's still okay. He's got +1 air to air, so that's a -1 on this roll. To see if he succeeds. The yo-yo, right? That's a 6, -1 is a 5, -1 attack, so he fails to get a good position. He's got -1 on the attack. He's neutral with a -1. We're +1, so that's a -2. I'm going to use an evade. So that puts that at 2 stress, or roll 2d10 on a -2. Take the lowest die roll. Is a 3, that's a 1. That's a miss. There's nothing going on here. Okay, cool. Bandits have completed. Do you know what? They haven't. Not quite. We forgot this site. These riflemen that we didn't destroy. Right, now's their chance to fight back. So remember, they could potentially stress us. They're only going to attack aircraft at low, so not these bombers. So it's either Sakamoto or top. Which they choose is purely random. So we'll just roll a die for this. So let's say 1, 2, 3 for Sakamoto, 4, 5, 6 for top. It's a 1, so they're going to go for Sakamoto. And then rolling a d10. We could be suppressing, but we don't have any unengaged escorts who can suppress. So there's nothing we can do about that. Not that we want to anyway, because of all this stress it would induce. And also, we could evade, but again, evade is going to cost us a stress anyway. So let's just roll the die. 6 or more. It's a 5, and actually it gets a -1 as well. So it's actually a 4. Because of the fire director, all sites get -1 on their attack rolls. Cool. We're okay. Alright, so no stress. The riflemen have missed. Bandits have completed. Time for us to attack now. We've got lots of dogfights going on now. We've got 2 bombers coming in over the target site. We only need 3 hits to take out this target. Can we do it? Find out next time.